What's up again, YouTube family? Welcome back. We are doing a taper today. So we're doing a quick tutorial on how we went from this right here and what we did to get it to a blurrier taper. I'm going to show you right here. But if this is your first time at the channel and you haven't subscribed yet, it might make sense for you if you are into black men's hair care, if you're into haircut transformations and tutorials. But we're going to jump right into this one. So the first thing we're gonna do is set our bald line in with our clipper, just so we don't create a really hard line like we might do with the trimmer. So we're gonna set that in. We're gonna clear this whole section out. So this is 1/8 of an inch that we're going against the grain. We're gonna clear this section and make sure that it's all the same length, so that once we put our taper on it, you'll be able to see where we go from that bald line all the way up. So you'll just see me clearing this section with this. And you'll notice me going with the grain in some spots just to get everything laid back down. But we want to make sure we don't have any dark spots. That's why I'm doing that, laying it down and brushing too. So the next thing we're gonna do is go in with a no guard open, and this is a wall clipper. So remember, it opens to about 1/2, not as wide as a master's. So we're not gonna take this line all the way up as far as we would if we were doing this with a master. As you can see, we're going ahead and making sure that this guideline is straight. And also, this is an ergo clipper. So this is a Stylecraft ergo, but it has a wall blade and setup and guard system on it. So my mistake, but as far as the guard system, similar. So like I'm saying, this is a 1/16, and we have to use this a little bit instead of using like an open one like we could do with the master if we were in there. So once you clear and create the two sections with the no guard open, and then you use that 16th, there you can already start to see the taper come in. So what we're gonna do is clean through these sections and then blend with the grain right here. So we're blending everything down with the grain so that it's smoothed out and you can see that the taper is in there. And we'll go in and corner out the dark spots like you can see. One thing that's more important when you're detailing too is making sure that you're brushing the hairs that you already cut, because with detailing you don't cut as much hair off, so you can't see if you don't move the hairs out of the way. So you'll cut them and they may just lay in the same place. So same thing here, we're detailing through with the corner with the trimmer. So same thing, brush them out of the way so you can see and make it look as perfect as you can. I did not know that instrumental got as funky as it did right there, but I'm putting a preliminary edge up on right now. So this is me tapping in the front of this edge up, tapping in the bar just so that we can see exactly where it is when we go back and clean everything up. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side once we get done, but we're gonna fast forward through that part so you can see it. And this is one of my favorite parts, setting in the C cups. So you want to make sure that you get that angle right. So you want to not hit the hairs that are growing in, like the terminal hairs, you just want to knock off and knock everything into that natural hairline of where everything starts to be solid. So just paint it in like you're painting with a pencil or a paintbrush. Use the edge of that trimmer to go ahead and set that in. So barbers, people who are just interested in hair cutting, I don't know if you noticed the difference right there, but what I see is that the hair grows a different direction right here. So if you notice, we're not going straight up, we're using the clipper at an angle to set in the same steps, but we got to use it at an angle so that we're going against the grain and not just in the direction of the taper. So I hope that makes sense. If not, ask a question, leave it in the comments. But notice the hair grows back towards where my finger is and not straight down towards his chin. Once again, we're just setting in that edge up on this side, knocking in the C cups just like we're painting, and then moving on to the back. And just so you know, when you have somebody who has locks or braids, you can keep it pretty simple with the steps. So I'm just clearing this out again, just like we did on the left side in a faster motion. We're clearing this all down to a 1/8 of an inch or number 1. And then we're gonna hit this with a no guard open, just not setting the guideline in as high as we would with like an Anders Master, but we're setting that same guideline in and we're gonna use the 1/16 in between there to clean that up. So not a whole lot of steps, but you want to do it and make it look really clean. And we got to use the corner of our clipper and trimmer a lot more around the back of the neck, just because it has more like peaks and valleys than we would if we had a clipper and not being able to really lay it flat on any particular section. So just use the corner the same way as you would the regular clipper. So I hope you didn't miss that. That was us raking through. So I flipped the clipper over at one point right there. You might have to go back and check. But I flipped the clipper over just to rake through that, make sure everything was smoothed down. So sometimes you can do that. I'm sure I'll do it on this side. You'll see it. We're just tapping in that edge up, and then we'll go back and clear the side down right around his ear. So we'll rake through that. And what I mean by rake is that right here, where we're not exactly smoothing the hair down, but we're cutting off the loose hairs by letting them go through those teeth when we have them up at the angle. So double check, always cross check in your mirror to make sure the front of your edge up is straight and make sure that your bars are straight. Use your mirror because your eyes can deceive you. You'll start to see what you want to see instead of seeing what's actually there. The mirror tells the truth. Now that we have the edge up across the front, you can see a little bit more detail. So once you have the edge up, it helps you somehow, I don't even really know, but it helps you be able to see a little bit better in your taper what's there and what's not there. So hopefully that helps. And we just hit a little bit of holding spray. We put a little holding spray on there and we're just cleaning this up a little bit more, making sure that everything is smoothed down before we do our real edge up. lot of my clients like a light enhancement. So we don't need it to be fully enhanced like they're about to go do a rap video, but we can do an enhancement where it looks natural, where it just makes it look a little bit fuller, add a little bit of contrast to the edge up, but nothing too crazy, not even noticeable. So that's my master airbrush and a compressor that I'll leave the link down in the description too. So now we got the client tilted back for a dry edge up. So it's not really a shave, but it's just knocking everything in and making sure that it looks really crisp, which is why we do it dry. It gives it a little ash line that contrasts with the hair. So that's what we're doing right here. Brush that off so it doesn't look too chunky once we're rolling through here. And then we'll set the C cup in by stretching the skin, keeping our razor at a 30-degree angle, sometimes a little bit flatter for me. Well, not flatter, but a little bit like higher up, just so I can move the ash line around without actually shaving. So we'll move that a little bit closer just so you can see before we move on to the front of the edge up. So we're moving to the front of the hairline. So we want to use our same rules for our edge ups as we would with our shaving. So we're using our offhand, our left hand, to pull the skin taut, but not too tight, keeping that at a 30-degree angle. Sometimes up to like 45 to move the ash line around, but not when you're actually shaving. So shave that into a super crisp line, parallel with the nose of the client. So please excuse my arm, but we're gonna set this C cup in the same way and just following that line that we traced in with our pencil / paintbrush of the edge of our trimmer. So we're setting that in and making sure that we tap everything into that line with our razor. But that's it, and we're at the end of the video. Actually, that went quicker than I thought it would, but here is the final product.